Hi there. I'm so excited to have my friend Dr. Debi Silber with me today and to talk about her upcoming book, Trust Again. And I'm so excited to have you here, Debi. Why don't you tell everybody about what you do and your book and what's going on here?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Well, I study betrayal, and you don't study something like that unless you have to. So I've been in health mindset personal development since 1991, and it just one thing morphed into the next, into the next. So it was eating well and exercising, and then it was stress related symptoms, illness, condition, disease, and then it was trauma. And then of course I had my own trauma. I had a betrayal from my family. And you know how the universe works. When you don't quite learn the lesson you were meant to learn, you get more opportunities. So I did, and it was my husband. And it just catapulted me into a PhD program in transpersonal psychology. Maybe not what everybody would do coming fresh out of a betrayal, but I was desperate to understand how the mind works, why we do these things, and how I could heal. And that was my attempt to heal. Got him out of the house, entered into this PhD program, and I studied betrayal. What holds us back? What helps us heal? And what happens to us physically, mentally, and emotionally when the people closest to us lie, cheat, and deceive? Well, that study led to 3 very exciting discoveries. So with that, I opened up the Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute, the From Betrayal to Breakthrough podcast, and all kinds of other stuff, a new TEDx, and of course the book Trust Again.
You want to tell us a little bit more about the book?
Yeah, sure. So the book is really, when these discoveries were made, I mean, it was just way too good to keep to myself. So there were 3 of them. The first was that healing from betrayal is very different than healing from other life crises, death of a loved one, disease, natural disaster. I'd been through death of a loved one. I'd been through disease. I actually had peritonitis, and you would know what that is. I was in ICU for 11 days. I mean, it's a miracle I'm alive. But betrayal felt different for me. I didn't want to assume it was the same thing for everybody else. So I said, if you've been through other crises besides betrayal, does it feel different for you? Hands down, unanimously, they said, oh my gosh, it's so different. So it needed its own name, which is now called Post-Betrayal Transformation. So that was one discovery that I was like, well, we have to talk about this. The second one was that there's this collection of symptoms, physical, mental, and emotional, so common to betrayal, it's now known as post-betrayal syndrome. So we have a quiz, an assessment on the site to see to what extent someone's struggling. And we've had over 8,000 people in the last year and a half, 2 years take the quiz. And what we know for sure, besides the physical, mental, and emotional symptoms, we've heard that saying, time heals all wounds. It's not true. Not when it comes to betrayal. The third discovery was that while we can stay stuck for years, decades, a lifetime, and so many of us do, if we're going to heal, we will move through 5 now proven predictable stages. And we don't skip them. We don't change the order. And what's even more exciting about that is now we know what happens physically, mentally, and emotionally at every stage. And we know what it takes to move from one stage to the next. So the book has all of that. The book walks you through the 5 stages with experiential exercises, and my study participants are in there. My story's in there. The 4-step process to trust again, really everything the study showed us, plus, what we've learned about this additionally is just, it's all included in the book.
Is there a link to the quiz that you want to tell me about? Is there simple?
Yeah, sure.
Type it into the headers here.
Yeah, so that would be the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com/quiz. And it's I'll be honest, it's a little bit jarring to take the quiz for some because, there are so many people who walk around with these symptoms thinking, oh, it's aging, it's due to this, it's due to that. Oh no, it's due to your betrayal. And when you see it, what's beautiful about that is then you know what needs healing. Yeah, and /trust again, that's the book. And so many fun bonuses that you get with the book too. But if anybody, it's really, one of the things the study proved too was at a time where we need support the most, we're the least likely to seek it. because there's so much shame, so much embarrassment. Often we're protecting the betrayer at our own expense. So I thought, with a book, at least people can get the help they need, even if they're just too uncomfortable, shy, ashamed, embarrassed to go somewhere and get that help.
Well, I'm a person who has experienced a good amount of betrayal in my life. And one of the things that happened to me was that I failed to notice because some of it was my family as a child. And I remember a number of years ago, actually, during the time I was going through my divorce, that I was thinking about the issue of betrayal. And I suddenly realized that my entire childhood had been filled with different levels of betrayal. And so when I first began, I couldn't even define it because it had been such an integral part of my life. So some people it might not be shame. It might just be, we didn't know. We didn't recognize it.
Yeah. Well, you're not looking for it because these are the people that you trusted the most. So we assume that we're safe and these people have our back. And this is when other people are driving us crazy and causing harm, we could run to these people because we're safe here. And that's why it is the biggest shock and massive stuff to get over because we never see it coming. It's as if the person we thought we knew so well sort of takes a mask off and they're like, oh, no, this is who I've really been. And we never see it coming. That's why it hurts so much. And that's why it hits us physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And when we realize we're betrayed, there are a few different routes we take. What I notice is many people numb, avoid, distract. And I get it. This is painful stuff to feel or face. So they're using food, drugs, alcohol, work, TV, keeping busy, reckless behavior, whatever. Then there's another group who they say, okay, well, you know what? I'll go to therapy. And that has wonderful uses if this person is highly skilled in betrayal. If not, it can do more harm than good. I see that in our community every single day. And then, it's like then some people just stay bitter, angry, resentful, miserable because they have their story and they're sticking to it, and I get it. You have every right to do that. But it stays with you until you move through it and heal it on every level because it affects every level, especially, family members, partners. These are the people closest to us.
Yeah, that's true. They're the people that I spent my life trusting until I figured it out. So
yeah, it's a big nut to crack. And I went from my family betrayal and then my husband, I'm like, well, either I'm the poster child here of betrayal or at the very least, let me do something with it because this is circulating in my world way too often.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what are the ways to understand betrayal better?
Sure. Well, the first thing, of course, you can't change something you're unaware of. So the first thing is to understand it and realize it. And the most, really what I would say the most important piece is this, and this is a hard one to really embrace, especially early on. Even though it happened to you, it's not about you. And it's a simple sentence, but it's not. Because we take it so personally. And that's the biggest differentiator between the trauma of betrayal and the trauma of other types of life crises, because betrayal feels so intentional. So we take it so personally. If we lose someone we love, like I lost my mom, we're sad, we grieve, we mourn the loss, life will never be the same. But we don't take it personally. The difference with betrayal is it affects, think about it, your sense of belonging, right? We have a shattered sense of trust. We have this great sense of abandonment, rejection, confidence. It all takes such a hit and it all needs to be completely rebuilt. And those are hard things to rebuild.
So any suggestions about rebuilding that you want to share at this time?
Yeah, sure. So the first step is, I look at trust like a brick wall. It can take decades to build. And then in one life-altering moment, the entire brick wall can come down. Now, you can look at that brick wall and say, that is just way too much work and I don't want to deal with it. And you can walk away and you have every right to do that. If you're planning on rebuilding that brick wall, think about it. The only way you could do it is just how it was put up the first time, brick by brick by brick. So what that really entails is, if you're trying to rebuild with that person, the person who's been betrayed, the person who's the trust has been shattered, has to be willing to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to be willing, and willingness is enough. I'm going to be willing to see if you can rebuild this trust. I don't believe in repairing. I don't think trust can be repaired. It can be rebuilt. The other person then has to be willing to be a really good bricklayer. and what they're doing at that point is giving you so many opportunities to show that they understand what they've done. They are, there's a lot of empathy, restitution, apology, remorse. And then they have to be a really good bricklayer. They have to just, keep giving examples of, maybe you're triggered. And then they, respond with, I'm right here, or whatever it is. You thought they were somewhere and they're right here. That's like a brick, rebuilding that brick wall. Something else, you may have an exchange and you think, well, they'll respond the same way they always did. And maybe they respond in a completely different way with so much empathy and love. That's a brick in that brick wall. So it takes time. It takes time.
What about in the cases where that person is no longer in your life or unwilling to do those things and you choose to stay in their life?
Yeah. I teach something. I call it the window of willingness. And this is going to help so many people. So I look at it as, here's the best case scenario of rebuilding, reconciling with that person to there's just no choice. So you'll see it so clearly here. Level 1, the window is the widest open. Apology, remorse, restitution. And it sounds something like this. I am so sorry for what I did. What can I do to make it up to you? I can't even imagine the pain I caused. Now, of course, with betrayal, it's going to take more than that. But that person's taking full responsibility. You have a lot to work with here. If you choose, you don't have to, but if you choose, you could feel the window closing a little bit with this next one. And the next one, it's coming when you hear because. And this is excuses. I did it because blah, 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 blah. I said it because blah, 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 right? You still may be willing to listen, but it doesn't feel as good as that level 1, right? Mm-hmm. Notice the window closing a little bit more here. This next one, it's coming when you hear the word you. I did it because you, blah, blah, blah. I said it because you. I call this the two-sided slap. Here, someone, betrayed your trust, broke your trust, shattered your trust, did something so painful, so hurtful, so harmful, and now you're getting blamed for it. This is crazy making. This is typical narcissistic gaslighting behavior. You have very little work with. You have nothing to work with here. Right. But the window closes even more with level 4. And level 4 is taking zero responsibility. Usually those people waver between that level 3, level 4. So when it comes to seeing, do I even have anything to work with here? You do if you're working with that level 1 best case scenario. You may be willing with that level 2. If you're working with that level 3 or that level 4, healing and rebuilding is always a choice. But in those cases, you heal yourself and move on. Like that's what I did with my family. It just wasn't an option. With my husband, he was at that level 1, completely transformed. So did I. And here's where, if you're willing, and if you want to, and if this situation lends itself, you can rebuild something entirely new. So, not long ago, we married each other again as 2 totally different people. So it really depends on where they are and what you're willing to do.
Right. What are the symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome?
Yeah, there is this collection, and it varies. I actually even have some statistics here. I'd love to read them to you. I think this would really interest anybody who's watching. So the typical ones, and I find this one so interesting. Well, like there are things like extreme fatigue, any adrenal issue, anxiety, rage, depression, sadness, digestive issues. That's so common. And I found this so interesting because think about what the digestive system does. It absorbs, digests, and processes food. Well, isn't it difficult to digest, absorb, and process a betrayal? So here are just some symptoms. So physical, These are the most common. Low energy. 71% of our 8,000 people who've taken the quiz, 71% have low energy. 68% have sleep issues. 63% extreme fatigue. 47% weight changes. 45% digestive issues. Some mental issues. 78% are overwhelmed. 70% are walking around in a state of disbelief. 68% unable to focus. 64% are in shock. 62% are unable to concentrate. Just mix those two and see how uncomfortable that is. And now emotional symptoms. 88% are sad. 83% are angry. You just take anger and sadness and mix those around during your day. That's exhausting right there. 80% are anxious, 79% are stressed. But the reason why I wrote the book, 84% have an inability to trust. 82% find it hard to move forward. 90% want to move forward, but they don't know how.
I agree. As you're talking, I'm thinking, again, like my divorce was connected to a lot of betrayal, but then my big discovery was really that my whole childhood was, so that it was so much a part of me that I had all the issues, and it's taken me many years to come to a place of trusting and loving and all of those things, all rebuilding myself, really.
Well, you know what it is? That was so, and I'm sure that was the case with me too, because it was the family betrayal. And when we have family betrayals, it's very common that we have repeat betrayals because that's what we learn. And so it's very familiar. It's not that it's good, it's very familiar. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I know what this feels like. This is home. I got this, and until that profound lesson is learned, whatever it is for you, like whether it's I am worthy, loving, deserving, I need boundaries in place. Like for me, one of the things was I was never even on my own to-do list. Like I matter too, whatever that lesson is, it's when that lesson is learned, there's no need to keep repeating it. And I wasn't sure why I felt so compelled. I mean, I'm talking like I was being pulled to join this, enroll in this, this PhD program. I had no idea like why I felt this strong pull, but I think now looking back, that was the big move I needed to show, oh, no, this is something I want to do. My needs matter. And by doing something so drastic, I mean, it changed my entire life.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Yeah. Can you give, I know you have a podcast too, which I have been a guest on.
Oh, we've been so blessed to have you on there.
Can you give some of your 7 greatest lessons from 100 podcasts that you've collected so far?
Sure. And that's actually one of the bonus gifts in the book bonuses. So I don't want to give too many of them away, but yeah, but there, one of the biggest things, and speaking with you, this is the one that comes to mind, the undeniable connection between the body and mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. We whenever we look at the body as a separate thing, it's like, okay, well, you can have all your mental, emotional issues and your body is totally separate. That is the biggest waste of time. And interviewing so many amazing experts like you, it was just so obvious that like the issues are in the tissues, and if we're struggling, by the time we struggle physically, take a look mentally and emotionally at what may be going on. Well,
and what I've experienced in my years of doing what I do is that so many people are so used to shutting off their emotions because to cope with whatever kind of stresses, so that you're not aware of your emotions, but you are very aware of your physical symptoms. Just one of the many reasons I love Chinese medicine is because it's always included, like emotions and physical symptoms and spiritual connection are all connected to whatever organ is involved in Chinese medicine. And so for so many people, you never have to really even think about the emotional connection. You just take it for granted. There's an emotional connection. It's always true.
And I remember you shared that on the podcast and in your beautiful book, which everybody, you need that book. If you don't have it, it's amazing.
Thank you. So, are there any hints that you want to give somebody about previews of your book? And here's the link to purchase your book right there, with all the amazing gifts that you're offering.
Yeah. Oh, I can give more than a preview. It's really, I mean, in the book, like I said, first of all, it's my very personal story, which is a little scary to share, but you know, I know it's going to help so many people hearing that from what I experienced, the healing I did to get to where I am. I mean, everybody will see I'm no different than anyone else. I just said, if something really bad's going to happen, I'm going to do something really good with it. And when I do, I'm going to take everybody with me. So it's in there. And the stories of all my study participants, and that's in there too. So you see, oh, wow, that's my story. And then you can see the healing path that they took and what it led to. And then I literally walk you through those 5 stages. So you see where everybody will know exactly the stage they're in. And then they'll be making a choice. Do I want to stay at this stage? Because now healing is predictable. Mm-hmm. But many people are unwilling because they have to leave their story behind, their old identity behind. So, but I'm calling you out on it. So this way you'll know, oh, I'm in, let's say, stage 3 out of 5, which is the most common place to get stuck. And that's where I just want to live. Okay, but I'm going to show you what you're missing out on too. And then my 4-step trust rebuilding process in there, and all kinds of experiential exercises. And it's really the kind of book where you're not meant to just read it. You're meant to do it. And you're not meant to go through it quickly. If it takes you a while in certain stages, and it should, because it is definitely, the stages are linear, but the process is not graceful. I'll be honest. Transformation is not pretty. It's messy. You have to be willing to get a little bit messy, but we got you. I mean, that's what's in the book, and it's designed to totally address everything you're feeling, everything you're experiencing, and to let you know that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and there's a way to heal from all of it.
What I love about you is that you took something so traumatic and you just jumped right into, I'm going to heal from this. I'm going to figure it out. And because I've observed you since it all started, and I remember that you just didn't get stuck in, oh, this is so painful, this is so difficult. No, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to change this. And having been a person, when I went through my divorce, I got stuck for a little while, where I was in a lot of pain and I didn't want to live. And there were a lot of things that kind of fell apart in my life because I got kind of stuck. Now unstuck, but I know for a lot of people that that you're such an amazing role model for not being stuck. So
thank you. This was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. But I didn't think being stuck was even an option. Like, I knew I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and they were watching me, and I wasn't keeping this from them at all, because I believe, in always being honest. But I knew they were watching, and I would always question, what are they seeing? What are they learning? What are they experiencing? How will they look at me through this? And this was a really big concern too, because when I saw my husband changing so much, and we started talking again, and we started on such a different level. I mean, we were talking more during that time that I've known him since 1984, so it had been years. We had just gotten so far away from each other. And, but that was my biggest question. Are they going to think that it's weak? And that was a huge concern. And it's interesting because I had each of them read something at our, when we got married again. And I was concerned about what they'd feel. And each of them were talking about the strength versus, the weakness. And because I guess they saw that. And to me, it wasn't even an option. Because I would feel like such a sucker, it's almost like a bad game of hot potato. Like, it just lands on you and that's it. I'm like, that doesn't, the injustice would have eaten me up alive.
Right.
So to do something helpful with it serves the injustice. And what's so interesting is when I think of who's my biggest supporter now, it's my husband. I mean, here is this whole business, brand, book, podcast, everything birthed off of the pain he caused, and it's not to certainly throw him under the bus. But it's when when you've both experienced such growth and change, it's who it's going to help.
Mhm.
That's the priority.
Right. Yeah. Transforming pain into healing is such an incredible thing. And I'm so happy that you're able to model that for so many people. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Are there
Thank
any
you.
suggestions or tips that you want to leave people with today?
Yeah, I would say it's not fair to you to stay stuck. It's just not. Someone did something they may not know, care, or even remember. And it's just not fair that your life, your health, your work, your relationships are kept at a standstill or capped because you don't feel happy or confident, or your self-esteem was never rebuilt, or you don't believe in yourself because you believed what they said, or whatever they said that affected you so deeply. And I get it. It's the worst pain. I believe betrayal is one of the most painful of the human experiences, except for maybe death of a child. But that's not fair to you to not heal. There is a version of you that would blow your mind, but it's on the other side of healing.
Yes. And I'm going to take from my book, the 7 Healing When It Seems Impossible, 7 Keys to Defy the Odds, and say that you were designed to love, and love is the most powerful healing force in the universe. So call on your love and read this book to learn how to trust again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm so honored.
Me too. Thank you.